In this, Atheist Reads Bible Verses, I'm going to do several verses. This is basically New Testament slavery and obey cruel dictators. I want to show you a few verses in the New Testament that support slavery, beating slaves, and not only that, but why you should obey your cruel dictators. Now, I got the idea of this video from another channel called Atheist Minority. I will put her video in the description. Of course, my video is different than hers. Hers is, of course, much better, but hers covers a different topic than mine. Okay, first is Ephesians 6:5. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service or men's pleasure, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from their heart. Basically, obey your masters. Slavery is good. Obey your masters. Your masters are good. Obey them like you would obey Christ. Do whatever they tell you. Don't question them. You're just a slave, so slavery is okay. Now the next verse. This one you'll find in Luke chapter 12, verse 46. The Lord of that servant. Well, let's go to Luke 45. But if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and well, okay, we go ahead and 40. Yeah, we go to 43. Luke 12:43. It might be best to start here. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. And if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servant maidens, and to eat and to drink and to be drunken, the Lord of the servant will come in the day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him asunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. Here's a good part right here. Luke 12:47. This one you're going to love. And that servant which knew his Lord's will, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whosoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. Basically, beat your servants if they don't listen to you. Now I know. Some of you are going to say, well, that's telling people to obey Jesus, and if you don't, you're going to hell. And the people who don't know Jesus, like in India and stuff like that, when they go to hell, they're not going to suffer as much. First off, that's still cruel. Second off, Jesus is using that as a parable, as an example, beating someone more for not doing what they're told when they knew they're supposed to do it, as an example. So that means he approves of beating your slaves, no matter how you slice it or dice it. Okay? He approved of it. He used this verse to support beating slaves. He did not take any time in any of these Gospels to say thou should not own another human being. Ever. But he did use here verses. He did use this to tell you, go ahead and beat the person who doesn't do what he's supposed to do when he knows he's supposed to do it, deserves to be beaten. I mean, I'm sure some people are going to weasel out and try to figure a way, to save these verses. I don't know, there's always apologists. You can go to gotquestions.org and you'll find it too. That's sickening. There's another beautiful verse. There's another one. 1 Peter 2:18. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to good and gentle, but also to the froward. See, even if your masters treat you like crap, you should worship them and do what they tell you. That's right, you do what your masters tell you to do, or else. And the last one for this part, 1 Timothy chapter 6:1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of God and his doctrine be not blasphemed. And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them, because they are brethren, but rather do them service, because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. Here's the one. Basically, you obey. There's several verses more, but I'm just going to do this one. You obey, people no matter what. You obey your rulers. I don't care how bad they are. Romans chapter 13. Let every soul be subject to the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Basically, God puts even people like Hitler in power. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. So if you fight against people like Adolf Hitler or any of these other bad rulers, well, you're screwed. For rulers are not a terror to good works. We know that's not true, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Basically, Stalin and Hitler, they were good people. They're not going to hurt you if you're good. Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Basically, these verses are to basically keep people subjected to people that rule over them, to their masters. And of course, there are a lot of verses about the poor. Oh, if you're poor, that's great. And if you read Ecclesiastes, or however the hell you pronounce it, Solomon's complaining, oh, woe is me, the poor are better off than me, woe is me, my servants and the poor, my slaves have it better than me, wah, wah, wah. Think about that for a moment now. You got this rich bastard, basically the Mitt Romney of his time, thinking that the poor and the slaves are better off. I mean, what the hell? Or they choose to be that way. I mean, what the freaking hell? That's what this is, why you have this stuff. Is to tell you, well, if you're poor, you should be happy because you're more likely to go to heaven. And slaves, just stay that way, you're okay. And the truth of the matter is, Muslims or Jews aren't any better. I mean, Muslims and Christians aren't any better. Yeah, Christians bought slaves from Africa. Muslims and Jews are not innocent in the slave trade. And you might want to look up the fact that white people are the ones that freed the slaves before any other ethnicity did. Europeans read about that stuff. Also, the Muslims still have no problem with slavery. Feel free to like, subscribe. Feel free to watch any of my other videos or comment. Thanks.